Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Turgeon again here for another episode of Turgeon Tales. Today we have my favorite book in the entire world, Caps for Sale. It is so much fun. I love doing different voices to this, so I can't wait to read this with you. But before we read the story, I want to go over something that we're going to talk about at the end is how to summarize our book. And this is kind of my flowchart on how I have my students make summaries and write summaries in the classroom. So we'll go over that right now and then we'll get to the story. So for our summary, as we read the story, we want to go over the somebody wanted but so summary method. And I'll go through each one of those. What does that mean? So for somebody, we want to talk about who is the main character. So you want to think of, there might be more than one character, but who is the main character? What did that main character want in the story? But there's usually a problem. So what was the problem? And then finally the so. So how does the character solve the problem? For this story, I'm going to put on my cap. There we go. All right. Caps for Sale. A tale of a peddler, some monkeys, and their monkey business. This is told and illustrated by Esper Slobodkina, and sorry if I butchered that last name. I tried. Caps for Sale, a tale of a peddler, some monkeys, and their monkey business. Told and illustrated by Esper Slobodkina. Sorry again for that. Once there was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not like an ordinary peddler, carrying his wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head. First he had on his own checked cap, then a bunch of gray caps, then a bunch of brown caps, then a bunch of blue caps, and on the very top, a bunch of red caps. He walked up and down the streets, holding himself very straight, so as not to upset his caps. As he went along, he called, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" One morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street and he walked down the street, calling, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" But nobody wanted caps that morning. Nobody wanted even a red cap. He began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," said he, and he walked out of town slowly, slowly, so he did not upset his caps. He walked for a long time, until he came to a great big tree. "That's a nice place for a rest," thought he, and he sat down very slowly under the tree. He leaned back little by little against the tree trunk, so as not to disturb the caps on his head. Then he put his hand to feel if they were straight. First he checked his own cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. They were all there, so he went to sleep. He slept for a long time. Shh, shh. Oh, sorry, that was the peddler, not me. But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were in the right place. All he felt was his own checked cap. Oh no, what happened? He looked to the right of him. No caps. He looked to the left of him. No caps. He looked in back of him. No caps. He looked behind the tree. Ugh, no caps. Make sure. Then he looked up into the tree. And what do you think he saw? On every branch sat a monkey. On every monkey was a gray cap, or a brown cap, or a blue cap, or a red cap. The peddler looked at the monkeys. The monkeys looked at the peddler. He did not know what to do. Finally, he spoke to them. Uh-oh, monkeys, you're in trouble. You monkeys, you, he said, shaking a finger at them. You give me back my caps. But the monkeys only shook their fingers back at him and said, tss, tss, tss. This made the peddler angry. So he shook both of his hands at them and said, You monkeys, you give me back my caps. But the monkeys only shook both their hands back at him and said, Tss, tss, tss. Now he felt quite angry. He stomped his foot and said, You monkeys, you better give me back my caps. But the monkeys only stomped their feet back at him and said, Tss, tss, tss. Man, that peddler is upset for sure. By this time, the peddler was really very, very angry. He stomped both of his feet and shouted, You monkeys, you give me back my caps. But the monkeys only stomped both their feet back at him and said, Tss, tss, tss. At last, he became so angry he pulled off his own cap and threw it down on the ground and began to walk away. But then each monkey pulled off their cap. Oops, sorry. But then each monkey pulled off his cap. And all the gray caps, and all the brown caps, and all the blue caps, and all the red caps came flying down out of the tree. So the peddler picked up his caps and put them back on his head. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. And slowly, slowly, he walked back into town calling, Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap. The end. All right, going back to our summary. Who was our somebody? Who was the main character? Now we know he wanted to sell his cap, but what did he want to do here? What did the main character want to do after a long time of walking around trying to sell his caps? But what was the problem? Oh no! What was happening in our story? So, how does the character solve the problem? What does the peddler have to do to get his caps back? I love that graphic organizer. It makes summarizing so easy. And of course, I have a fun little activity to go along with this. We can't just leave it with just writing. So, challenge for all my readers out there to gather up all the caps in your house and see how high you can stack your caps. Okay, last one. Caps for sale, 50 cents a cap. Caps for sale. Bye, boys and girls. Happy reading.